In today's video, we're going to be discussing why I'm doubling down on CONY, which is the Yieldmax Covered Call ETF on Coinbase. Even though Bitcoin had a huge move to close the year, I'm still doubling down on CONY even at these levels, and I'll share with you why. So we earn over $150,000 per year in dividends at this channel. This number would be higher, but the IWMY dividend is not showing yet. Also, my performance value shows that I'm up 24% for the year. Okay, 24%, and the SP is up 19%. I have to catch my breath because I ran upstairs to do this video. It's very loud downstairs with TJ. Whew. Okay, so we're up 24%, beating the S&P, and we were up 50% this year, and we're beating all indexes, but closed-end funds had a rough month during October. So I'm living the fire lifestyle here, and you can too. Email me for my e-guides at aikentod48@gmail.com if you're interested in doing the same. As we know, the Fed decided to keep interest rates unchanged recently, and that meant that risk-on assets were rallying, including small caps and Bitcoin. The last video we made, we discussed how we were up even though Defiance was down, and this was because of Cornerstone and small caps like OARC and IWMY. But CONY is a large part of OARC, and CONY is tied to Bitcoin, obviously, and I never really gave CONY its proper due. So I'm not really a fan of Bitcoin at this channel because it doesn't pay dividends, or at least it didn't. Things that were tied to Bitcoin did not pay dividends, and I need dividends to live the fire lifestyle here because banks don't take trading gains, okay? They wouldn't take UPRO gains, and they won't take Bitcoin gains either because those fluctuate too much and don't pay a steady monthly income. So they only take 9 to 5s or dividends, and they need that for 2 years of qualifying income if you want to buy a house or a car. And so that's why I'm not really a huge fan of Bitcoin. Plus, it's risky and it can, take down your account. In 2022, Bitcoin did not act as a store of value. As we know, it crashed in 2022. So, but I do understand the arguments for Bitcoin. It has, good supply and demand fundamentals that, Bitcoin will be having soon. And also, we're moving to blockchain. That's where the world is headed. And we've done videos on blockchain names like PayPal here and Square, okay? You can see that we're up 16% in Square and 2% in PayPal, and I think those stocks are really cheap as well, and you could play Bitcoin through those as well. But again, it's about the dividend cash flow model here at this channel, okay? I don't really care what the underlyings do. I don't care if they win or lose. I just want the dividends to pay back my investment, and in CONY's case, we have, a 50% dividend approximately, so that should pay back my investment in around 2 years, okay? And when we're playing Yieldmax funds, we don't even care about the underlying fundamentals necessarily because, ultimately you only care about the volatility that these stocks have. So if you think Bitcoin will remain volatile, then the premiums and the options for Coinbase should remain volatile too. And so those premiums should stay elevated, and that keeps our dividends elevated. So even if Coinbase falls or goes higher, the volatility stays high, and that's where we keep getting our dividends, and they should stay around 50% if volatility stays high. So that's really the trick. At this channel, again, we don't even care about price movements in most funds because we just want the dividends to pay back what, if we're losing, then the dividends pay those back. But in Yieldmax funds, we're going by volatility. So sometimes funds can cut their dividends because they don't have enough earnings to cover their dividends, let's say. But with Yieldmax, they can pay these exorbitant yields because the volatility stays high. So we only care if volatility stays high, once again. Okay, so the other thing that I stay focused on with Yieldmax funds is position size management, okay? So as you can see, most of my stocks in Yieldmax funds are about $1,000, okay, $1,000 or $1,500. Okay, and I only put the bulk of my money in things that are either indexed, okay, like Cornerstone. We have 400,000 in Cornerstone, okay, and that's tied to the S&P and NASDAQ, so that's how I don't see too many fluctuations in my account. Okay, if I was tied to all Bitcoin in 2022, again, I would have been destroyed. And yes, I use margin at this channel. So for every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power. All right, everyone has this purchasing power granted to them through a brokerage account, and I just use a fraction of this $1 million in purchasing power to get ahead. So my debt is around $150,000 per year, but my dividends will pay back this debt in around 1 year. So I don't care about market crashes, okay, 20 to 30% falls on a market crash because again, I can withstand that. My available withdrawal is very high. It's at 220. This means that if you were to take my 150 in margin debt and add it to my value, so 456, okay, plus 150, we'll call that 600,000. What's 10% of 600,000? 60. What's 20%? 120. What's 30%? 180. So I could withstand over a 30% correction, again, in the market, and that's because I'm tied to indexes, okay? Stocks can fall by much more than this. So if I was tied to Bitcoin, I could see more than a 30% drop in a month. So since I'm tied to indexes, I can withstand, we probably won't see 30% drops in a month. That's very rare. But if we do, I can withstand that, and I can still withdraw freely out of my account. Okay, that's the key, is not only withstanding margin calls, but also being able to pay all my bills and withdraw freely and live the FIRE lifestyle. Okay, I can go wherever I want in the world, travel. I can buy cars, clothes, shoes with my E-Trade debit and checking card. And my dividends just pay that back. It's all automated out of my account, okay? So the reason why my available withdrawal is so high, even though I use margin, is because I go to low maintenance names. And if you go to CONY, you'll see that the maintenance is high on many Yieldmax names. So this is why my available withdrawal is so high, because I don't put much in these Yieldmax names. 50% maintenance is what you see here for CONY. If you need help understanding maintenance, that's in my margin e-guide, my volume 3 e-guide. Okay, so maintenance is everything. Okay, even if you're not using margin, you want low maintenance because that keeps your available withdrawal high. Maintenance also tells you what the risk is for a given security. So again, if E-Trade has maintenance at 50% for CONY, they see it as somewhat risky. All right, so I can't put too much in CONY or my available withdrawal will go down, and I can't have my available withdrawal go down because then that takes away my cushion from a market fall, okay? And then I can't withdraw freely out of my account. So, and again, once again, if you're not using margin, you still need low maintenance so that you can withdraw freely out of your brokerage account if you want to live the FIRE lifestyle. So CONY, you have to keep this in mind. You have to understand it's not indexed, so it can fall by way more than the index. It's also tied to Yieldmax. That means that it can fall by the amount of the stock of Coinbase, but it won't go up by the amount of Coinbase's stock because it has upside cap since it sells covered calls or synthetic calls. So you have to keep this in mind with Yieldmax, and you have to watch your position sizes carefully. So again, I tie most of my positions to the indexes, okay? Cornerstone, 400,000. And for all you newcomers here, it's a 5-star fund. Everyone asks, why do you have so much in Cornerstone? Doesn't the chart go down over time? Isn't that a terrible stock, a fund? No, it tracks the S&P and NASDAQ basically, and it beats the indexes as you can see here. But you have to factor back in dividends and drips. Okay, so you can always go to another broker and find lower maintenance for CONY, for example, but they don't have the special drip for Cornerstone, perhaps like Robinhood and Interactive Brokers. You can get lower maintenances on your Yieldmax names there, and perhaps take more risk, use more margin, get ahead faster. But I don't suggest doing too much of that because the Yieldmax stocks can fall by the amount that the stocks fall, as I just alluded to, and also the maintenance, while it may be low, again, you don't get the special drip for Cornerstone. Some of those brokerages don't even offer Cornerstone. Like Interactive Brokers offers Cornerstone, but it doesn't give you the special drip. See, Cornerstone has a special drip. It has a 21% dividend. That's why it's 5-star rated. And it gives you days gains potential. We're up about 7,000 in Cornerstone on Friday. But again, it also gives you the drip at NAV feature. See, Yieldmax, when it has its X-date drop, you drip it back at the market price. So that's not a true drop of the market price of the index. It's just a drop on the X-date for Yieldmax. But with Cornerstone, when it drops on its X-dividend date, it reinvests the 21% dividend down at the NAV, not the market price like with Yieldmax or Defiance. So that's the special advantage of Cornerstone, and that's how you really get ahead. We get thousands of dollars every month, free thousands it seems like. Basically, you could call it free if you reinvest it. Free thousands every month from the drip alone. Then we get days gains potential, okay, and you get the 21% dividend. So that's why Cornerstone is superior, and it beats all other funds that are tied to the indexes. That's why it's the best, the highest rated fund I can find. But you have to learn how to play Cornerstone properly. Beware, okay, closed-end funds, they have rights offerings. So you need to time them around those rights offerings. That's what my rights offering service was for here on Discord. That's why we started Discord. It was originally just to get the word out for the Cornerstone Rights offering. So we have a Cornerstone channel here, okay, Cornerstone discussion only. We also have a Yieldmax channel, a Bitcoin channel. You can follow my portfolio on Discord when I'm not making videos on YouTube. So it's a really valuable resource, and it's free when you buy my e-guides. Most YouTubers charge for their phone numbers or charge a monthly service for Discord. When you buy my e-guides, I give you both for free. So you get my phone number. You can call me anytime. I help you negotiate your margin rates down. Help you squeeze out more performance out of your account. We'll get your available withdrawal higher, squeeze out more income by going with lower maintenance names or more index names. There are a multitude of things we could discuss over the phone. How to protect your portfolio with short options, or how I sell options down here to lower my margin. Okay, or how I lowered my margin rates to about 6%. Okay, many of my clients who bought my e-guides called me, and we discussed how we could lower their margin rates. Okay, so that's really the key to getting ahead, is using debt, good debt, to get ahead that doesn't show up on credit checks to banks and gives you qualifying income for loans, and it's low interest debt. So I don't mind holding it. Okay, if you're charging on credit cards for the holiday season, okay, you're just going into more debt on credit cards with an exorbitant interest rate. My interest rate here is 6%, so I charge everything to my E-Trade card. Okay. So it's very important to keep these things in mind, okay? Discord, again, you get free with my number, and those are both free when you buy my e-guides, okay? And why do I have e-guides? When I started the channel, I didn't even have e-guides, okay? I did it because I got so many questions, all right? And then I get follow-up questions, so you can have my phone number. And then people always want to, when they buy the Cornerstone Volume 4 e-guide, they just want to know when is the rights offering going to occur. So again, we put that in the Discord chat room. All right, so this is how I'm playing CONY, okay? CONY, I had 5,000 in it, and then I bought another 3,000 on Friday, so I got it up to 8. And if you go to a chart of CONY, okay, and I want to get this up to about 12,000, but I'm going to be buying on dips. Now, if we go identify the chart, where the dips are for coin, you're really not going to be able to see much of a dip because coin just took off, okay? If you need help understanding charts, that's in my Volume 2 e-guide. Okay, so we can see here that we had a move above the 200-day moving average in July. We couldn't clear it. From February to June, we were going sideways, and we could not clear that black line, the 200-day moving average. But when we did clear it in July, it was off to the races, okay? We had almost a double from June to July, from 60 to 120. Okay, now then everything pulled back to the black line, back to all the moving averages, and it had a killer consolidation pattern here. This is one of the best sideways patterns you can ever see. Okay, and so I bought more CONY here, about 5,000, and I was making videos on Coinbase in Europe when I was with my family about a month ago there. I was showing this very part of the chart and showing this consolidation pattern, and I put 5,000 in it. I just wish I put more in it because look, now it's at 140. So has the top been reached for Coinbase? We don't know. No one knows. If you go to a 5-year chart, you can see that 200 is the next resistance level. Okay, so it passed the purple line here, the 100-day moving average. That could be positive. And look, the next resistance is 200, which is here. Okay, this consolidation area is the next resistance around 200. So we have quite a bit of upside left to see that resistance. And that was the old support in 2021 was 200. So 200 again looks like the price that the next. It looks like the next target in play. Okay, and I'm not saying it's going there. Once again, I don't care where the prices go because again, we just collect the dividends. And if the volatility stays high on Coinbase, then we're going to keep getting our dividends. But again, it does look pretty constructive. It is overbought though. Beware. Every time we're overbought here, okay, as you can see, we're overbought. We pulled back. Okay, and here we're overbought, and let's see, we pulled back at the 200-day moving average. So we're overbought again. All right, now I've seen crazier things. I've seen stocks remain overbought when they're really strong and in a strong uptrend. And if Bitcoin keeps going, then we could theoretically see CONY go to 100 on its RSI. Okay, I've seen it happen before, where it almost tags 100. So this is a unique opportunity, I think, in CONY because with Bitcoin, you get the chance of explosive upside potential and you get the dividends from CONY. So the way Yieldmax sells their calls, they have it to where they can actually capitalize on these moves, and you can make more money than you would imagine. I have it in an email that I was talking to Jay about. I'll put that in the comment section below, how he articulated how he sells calls, and how you can actually, because with Yieldmax funds, the upside is capped. Okay, you can fall by the amount of the stock as it goes lower, and the upside is capped. So it won't go up as much as Coinbase, but he does sell calls in a way where you can get more upside potential than you previously expected if he plays those options right. Okay, again, I'll link that comment. I'll link our email discussion in the comment section below. So that's how I'm playing CONY, guys. Okay, I had 5,000 in it on that sideways consolidation pattern. We broke out. Now I'm looking to buy. I have 8,000 in it now in case there's FOMO, in case we go higher and higher. I have a good amount in it, but I don't want to put more than 3 to 5% of my portfolio in it because it is risky. It's not in the indexes, but it is its own asset class. So I think it deserves having its own section in the portfolio here. I need to have a little more exposure to it. And as it pulls back, then I'll be adding to it, okay? Again, I don't like to put too much in any Yieldmax stocks because they can fall by the amount of the stock, and I keep about 1,000 to 1,500 in Yieldmax names. But if it's largely a part of the index like Apple or Microsoft, then I don't mind having 10,000 in it. Tesla, we have about 12,000 in it because that's a large part of the indexes, and it's a huge growth theme. Kathy Wood, she keeps about 8% in her ARK fund with Coinbase, okay? So you can see here 8% for Coin. This is the ARK fund. So she really believes in it, but I, again, can't tie too much of my portfolio to Coinbase when it's not in the indexes, and it's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin can really take you down. It can help you in up markets, but it can also take you down. And I'm trying to win in both markets, you know, an up market and a down market. We outperformed in 2022 because of our dividend model from Cornerstone. It drips its dividends at the NAV. So when the market was going lower, it was dollar cost averaging for us at the lows. Okay, so I didn't mind staying in Cornerstone because that was helping us outperform. But if I was in just Bitcoin alone, I would have really underperformed and potentially lost a large part of my account. So anyway, I think that'll do it for the video, guys, okay? If you need help doing what I'm doing, email me for my e-guides at aikandtodd48@gmail.com. When you buy my e-guides, again, you get free access to Discord for life and my phone number for life, so keep that in mind. And also, if you like the video, click like or subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.